Welcome back to my 30 days of reclaiming my purpose. I'm Erlene, aka Elise, aka Lisa. This is day 3, 4, 5, and 6. This is what I do during these days. I figure out how I'm going to heal myself. I figure out how I'm going to repair, adjust, use the hurt from the year before, weeks before, and replant it, seed it, cultivate it into positives. One thing about me, I don't like the word healing or healed, because and to me it's a false positive, because and it's a lie. I'll use the word healing because that's what we all understand. That's what makes sense. Is that common language? But to me, we truly never heal from what hurts us, what has damaged us, because we carry it. It's a part of us now. It's reshaped us in some way, and I don't consider it healing. I consider it, it's something else. I don't know what the word is, but it's all about what you do with it, what you take with that feeling, and how you move on with it. Not moving on or bearing or forgetting or pushing through, but how do you now move on, because now it's a part of you. As men and women were people, to be all inclusive, whatever you consider yourself, our bodies change, our minds change as we grow and go through life. You have children, women, your body changes, the chemical makeup changes, the shape of you changes. Your hips are now even wider if you had natural childbirth. You'll never go back fully to where you were. Men, you grow, you change, you go through life, you mature. We all mature, but it's a change, right? So, the first day of the 30 days, I reflected on the year, the weeks, the years prior to. And like I said before, I started doing this like way in November, December, because my birthday being at the end of the month, end of December, that's my new year of life, because I'm ending and starting afresh in years of life and a new 365 that's coming. I reflect. I look back on everything. I remember everything. And then on the second day, I hold myself accountable. It's accountability. It's that kind of acceptance. It's that kind of in your face. Okay, you reflected. Now own your shit. Own your ups and downs, own your positives, acknowledge the good stuff and acknowledge the not so great stuff. Acknowledge your part in the negative, acknowledge your part in why you're not happy. Stop blaming others, or accept and see what's, just all about that kind of hold yourself accountable. You don't have to tell the world your accountability checklist, but it's holding yourself, being honest with yourself. The first part of any kind of wellness is being honest with yourself. And what I do during these days is just hit myself flat in the face, slap it down in honesty. And so I did all that. So right now, I'm in the process of looking through everything that was ugly and seeing how I can reshape it into a positive and plant that into a positive, not build walls and hide, or barriers, or neglect, or ways of keeping myself away from people, but how can I use what didn't work out for me based on what I thought I should have had or what I was trying to force to have, and how can I take that as a lesson? And that's what I'm doing during 3, 4, 5, and 6. I take those days, those 4 days, and just say, what works for me? I don't really give advice at all. That's not what I do. But I will say this. This is one of the few things that I love to, I live within myself, and I try to pass on to others who may ask me. Things have to work for you how they work for you. You can't compare your wellness journey to someone else's. If someone writes to be calm, that may not be what works for you. If someone takes a hot bath to calm down, that may not work for you. You have to do what works for you. And I've taken many years to figure out what works for me. And I know it works for me. I know it works for Lisa. And every year, if a new thing arises, I figure out what works best for me. So I go through those things. I cry. I yell. I acknowledge. I talk to myself. I have great conversations with self. I walk around. I'm not a journaler. I don't journal. I don't document like that because I don't want to see it. Because believe me, my memory is good enough for the nonsense. But I just walk through, and how I heal and how I reshape those things is I face it head on. I don't blame anyone but me. I make sure that I walk into environments and I do a self-check, a wellness check at the door. And I make sure that I take all the negatives that I feel are negatives and look at ways that I may have caused it or how I may have prolonged it and how I can be better from it. I don't beat myself up anymore. I beat up on day 3. I may beat up on day 4, but I don't beat myself up anymore. My time is my time. What's for me is for me. And I just take it one breath at a time, and I plant those seeds of experience, and I try to make it grow into something because I nurture it differently. I nurture it into a way of a positive. If someone hurt my feelings and didn't like me because I like them, I say, you know what? That wasn't for me. And I'm not going to wish them harm or say, oh, they don't know what they're missing. I'm not for them and they're not for me. So let me go ahead and continue to work on me, work on my positives, become the woman that God has made me to be. And my mother prayed for, like I always say. I just work through it. So during this time, I find my ways of acceptance. I find my own ways of dealing, which I can't stand that word also, because dealing means I have no choice. But in a way, I don't have a choice. I have to face the shit and deal with it, right? And that's what I do during this time. I find ways to heal. One thing that I do not do is I don't put on anyone my negativity. I check my wellness at the door, and I try really hard not to pull anyone in my storms or in my nonsense or in my moments as I'm trying to heal. And I give them notice. And I would also say, as another nugget, when you're going through a life change and you're going through your moment of healing or transition or change, you may not owe anyone anything, but what you do owe yourself is peace in that moment. So what you can do is at least let those around you know, in this moment, I'm having a bad day and I'm working through it. In this moment, I'm taking some time. I'm taking a journey to make some adjustments. And that's what I'm doing. Don't turn your journey into a selfish, it's all about me, I gotta do what I gotta do. You can still be about you and do what you have to do and put people on notice like, hey, not today. Hey, not a good one. Or you know what, I don't have the mental capacity for right now to assist you in what you need because I'm going through my own right now. This is my moment of processing. I'm taking a few days to reconnect with myself. And take that time. But take that time and tell people to leave you alone in the nicest way possible. Or people who've always stood by you and cared for you, let them know that, hey, you know, right now, I'm on a journey. It's going to take me a few days, but I'm going to reconnect with you. Or right now, I have to find a few things and I have to change a few things. Or I'm experimenting on a few things. And so I don't want you to be hurt in the process, or I don't want you to think differently or think I'm treating you differently in the process. I'm just doing something right now. It has nothing to do with you. I still care. But hey, this is your notice. This is your heads up that I'm doing something right now. It's all about common courtesy. And that's enough about that. But yeah, I'm just taking my time and I'm enjoying this journey. The month is almost over. We're halfway through. Every day, 2021 has been interesting, And as I was journeying through day 3, 4, 5, and 6, a lot has happened that I'm not even going to speak of right now, not on my moment of peace. But it just really reaffirmed for me how much we need to heal and make some adjustments. So that's what I'm doing right now in day 3, 4, 5, and 6. I am figuring out my wellness and what wellness for me is going to look like, what I need to do to maintain good mental health and good mental stability, and when I should take a break, and listening to my body and listening to my mind, and taking the hurt from the year before and turning it into fertilizer to grow into a better woman. So that's my day 3, 4, 5, and 6. How I heal and how I figure out my feelings. Working through this hurt. And it's painful. I've cried. I've hollered. But I've come out a better person. I'm ready to move into the year full force. Stay tuned for 7.